So, a very good morning to all the members connected with us. Today, in the very first session, we are going to deal with the topic that is emotional intelligence. So, when it comes to an emotional intelligence, and specifically when we are leading others, it is compulsory or it is essential for us to understand the emotion not or ourselves, but also of the individuals who are surrounded us in day-to-day life. So, when it comes to an emotional intelligence, the research also suggests that it is not only the IQ ability of an individual that help us to increase the success rate, but it is also the understanding of the emotion that help an individual or professional to play a competitive role in this professional world. So, with this note, we are going to start with our session that is on emotional intelligence. So, first, we need to understand what we mean by emotion. So, any member from the group, before I give elaborated discussion on this term that is emotion, any member who would like to participate that what they understand by the term emotion?
Ji ma'am, ma'am, good morning.
Good morning, Gurmeet ma'am.
Ma'am, emotion is something which is, a feeling which we have within us, and it may change due to situation or circumstances.
Thank you very much, Gurmeet ma'am. Any another member who would like to add something to it? Yes, members with us in the studio.
The way we are able to absorb everything that is happening on the outside, also within us, and how we translate it into our behavior, probably also can denote what emotions we are going through.
Thank you very much, Aditi ma'am. Aditi ma'am is basically talking about the more advanced form of emotions, that is the adaptability to the surrounding. So, thank you very much for your response, ma'am. So, when it comes to an emotion, as rightly added by Dr. Gurmeet Kaur Gill, ma'am, that emotion is the very first instant feeling that you have towards any circumstance, towards an individual, towards anything that is surrounded us. So, emotion is say for example, if there is xyz situation that is happening around you, and suppose that situation is a negative kind of a situation, so when I'm saying I'm feeling a negative kind of experience, it means that that is the first feeling that I'm taking out of that particular circumstance, out of that particular condition. So when I'm saying that I'm thinking or I'm manipulating my behavior, or I'm adjusting or adapting that environmental change, that is not the true emotional feeling that you are having. The first experience that you get from any positive or negative kind of a circumstance, the first instant reaction that your body is feeling, that is your emotion. So when we are saying emotion, each one of us has experienced strong feelings that are associated with pleasant as well as with negative kind of experiences. As we grow, as we mature, we are able to control or manipulate our feelings. We are able to hide our emotions. We are able to show a different kind of face. Say, mentally, I'm feeling something else, but as per the circumstances or as per the environment available with me, I'm showing a different kind of behavior. I'm showing or I'm manipulating my feelings so that others are not able to observe it. It doesn't mean that my body is not feeling that strong feeling. I am facing that experience, I'm getting that experience, but I'm manipulating or adapting the environment so that others are not able to analyze what I'm feeling right now for that particular thing. So when it comes to an emotion means the first feeling that you are getting out of any circumstance or out of any environment, that is the emotion. It can be positive, it can be negative. With age, as we grow or our maturity develop, we are able to manipulate or we are able to adapt with those emotional changes. So when it comes to an intelligence, the first thing that we all need to understand is what are the seven universal facial expression of emotions. So as the topic is the emotion leading with emotional intelligence, so as a leader I must be able to understand that if there are 100 or 120 students available with me in my class, or there are 40 faculty members or technical staff working under my leadership, so I must be able to understand or I must be able to collect the responses that is given by them to me on day to day basis. For this, the first sign language that we all need to understand is the facial expressions. So my request to all the participants to kindly take your paper and pen out and try to note down the seven universal facial expressions of emotions. Any facial expression that help you to understand the emotions of other individuals?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I think facial expressions include, sometimes you're very happy, excited,
Okay.
or maybe there may be surprises. At situations we are very worried, which is a kind of fear. Maybe we get angry, we are sad. So maybe we are confused, we are satisfied. I think all these comes through our face.
Thank you very much, Gurmeet ma'am. Tulsi Giri Goswami sir write it as surprise. Anit Yadav, eyes gesture. Frown, drop lippings, eyebrows. So thank you very much, all of you. Happy, gloomy, confused, surprised. So on WhatsApp nowadays, there are many at times we received messages that what are the different emojis that you are using nowadays, or what are the frequent uses of emojis on your chat group, maybe Instagram, maybe WhatsApp. So these kind of messages are basically to aware you that what kind of psychological or what kind of emotional responses that you are giving to other individuals in your life. Say for example, if emoji that you are using very frequently is of happy face, if you are using it of a sad face, if it is you, if you are using it for a angry or a surprise kind of an emotion, it means these are the different kind of emotions that you are facing in your day to day life. So when we are saying the seven universal facial expression, those facial expression help us to collect feedback from our environment, that in a particular environment what are the different emotions that we all are facing and how to control those emotions. So when I'm saying with age or as we grow, we are able to manipulate and adapt our emotion. So when it comes to manipulation, when it comes to adaptation of the particular environment or particular circumstance, it means I'm manipulating my feelings. I'm able to manipulate my feeling only if I'm able to understand my own feelings. So if I'm happy, do I know that I'm happy? If somebody in my classroom or somebody in my office is surprised or he or she is feeling fearful, what are the different circumstances that causes that particular fear? So when I'm saying that we are able to analyze that emotion, and after analyzing the emotions only, we are able to manipulate or adapt those environmental changes. Say let's take an hypothetical case. Say for example, a dark night and you are walking alone on a street. What kind of emotion you may be feeling? Fear. So with that particular emotion, what will be your environmental response? कई लोग तेज चलना शुरू कर देंगे, कुछ लोग अपने आगे पीछे देख के चलेंगे. Some people hide themselves, or some people call somebody to have some sort of a protection. So what we were facing is a negative kind of experience, and based on that particular experience, our brain response or our body response may vary. सबसे पहले हमने किस चीज को एनालाइज किया? व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट फीलिंग्स दैट आई एम फेसिंग राइट नाउ, राइट अवे इन दिस पर्टिकुलर situation. When we are happy, when we are joyful, we want to share that information with everybody in our life. When we are surprised, we want to know the reason of that particular surprise. So when it comes to identifying the emotions, as per your understanding, you are trying to adapt that environmental situation. So as a leader in a department, when you are leading others, it is essential for you to collect the facial expressions on day to day basis, or the kind of responses that is happening in that particular environment. If somebody is angry all the time, or if somebody is happy all the time in your department, as a leader I want to analyze that what are the different things that are triggering in this particular environment, that is why the individual is not feeling good or happy in a given situation. So it's a hint or a feedback to a leader that something is happening in this particular room or in this particular department that we need to consider, or we need to cater the needs for. So the first thing that we need to do is, how did you do? So when I'm saying that you are feeling fearful in a given situation, how did you do? आपको कैसे पता चला कि आप fearful feel कर रहे हैं?
One doesn't feel secure in the given environment.
Doesn't
You're
feel
not
secure in the,
comfortable, maybe.
you're not comfortable maybe. Okay.
Like in a team, the team members
It was
may
like
not be
the
respect the
we
same.
were told earlier from the last experiences, this kind of environment is not secure.
This
So we
kind of
start feeling
environment
this is
is
our
so.
last
So depending upon our past
experience.
experiences, we are able to analyze different kind of emotions. There may be an individual who do not feel fearful in a given situation. Dark night, walking alone, he may not be fearful. So depending upon our past experiences or depending upon our past feeling, we are able to analyze or we are able to give name to that particular feeling or to particular emotion. Which emotions were difficult to match? The secondary kind of emotions are very difficult to match. When I'm saying I'm happy or somebody is happy in my group, it is very easy for me to understand. When I'm saying somebody is feeling fearful, that is also very easy for me to analyze. But if I'm saying that somebody is feeling very frustrated or not angry, frustrated, but at the same time that individual is showing a positive kind of feeling on their face, so it is very difficult for me to analyze what internally happening with that particular individual. So secondary kind of emotion means, as a leader, when we are dealing with a group, there may be matured members, there may be members who are very easily able to manipulate the kind of feeling, they're showing a different kind of a face. So as a leader, when I'm identifying the different kind of emotion, I need to understand that what are the primary kind of emotion that is happening in this particular environment and what are the secondary kind of emotion. इंडिया में ना, इन ऑफिसेज और इन योर पर्सनल लाइफ ऑल्सो बहुत बार कहा जाता है कि जैसा दिखता है वैसा है नहीं. तो जब हम कहते हैं जैसा दिखता है वैसा है नहीं, इट मीन्स हाउ डिड यू डू दिस? You are collecting the past memories. Based on those past experiences, we analyzes our feelings, and based on that feeling, we are passing remark to that particular individual. It means that individual is able to hide many kind of emotions, maybe by maturity, maybe by manipulation, or maybe by adaptation. Which emotions were easy for us to analyze? Every time the primary kind of emotions are very easy for us to analyze. How does each emotion impact your work environment? So the next activity for all of you is, I hope I am available to all the members connected with us online also. So the next activity for all of you is,
Yes,
write
ma'am.
5 positive emotions on your notebook and 5 negative emotions on your notebook. 5 positive kind of emotions, or simply we can say 5 positive feelings or 5 negative feelings on your notebook. You can also write in the chat box. So which emotions were very easy for all of you to note down? Positive or negative? Both. Yes, from the group. Any member from the group, in the chat box, the kind of responses we are getting, most of the people are writing the positive kind of emotions first, and after that they are noting down the negative kind of emotion. And many of the members are able to write more of the positive emotion rather than of the negative emotion. So I simplify this particular activity for all of you. Otherwise, we always say that within 2 minutes, kindly note down the positive or negative kind of emotions that you are facing in day to day life. So when I'm saying positive or negative kind of emotion, we always started with the positive kind of a feeling, and we try to analyze or we try to think of that what are the different negative kind of emotions or experiences I'm having later in my life, previously in my life. So when I'm saying a positive kind of emotion and we are noting down those positive kind of emotion, give us a feeling of satisfaction or give us a feeling of joy. But when I'm saying note down the negative kind of experiences or negative kind of emotion, somewhere the memories hit our mind. So when I'm saying angry, I'm sure that many of you remember those moments when you was angry, maybe in the few previous day. When you are saying that you are feeling biasness, there is one member who written as biasness, a member written as jealousy, contempt. Now see how these emotions are interrelated with each other. When you said biasness, when you said jealousy, when you said contempt, so it's a clear hint that something that is not accurate, that is not right is happening with that particular individual. That is why that individual is feeling these kind of emotions. So those negative emotions are interrelated with each other. Try to look into the emotions that you have noted down on your notebook. When you said positive kind of emotion and when somebody said happiness, the next emotion is satisfaction. When somebody said love, then they said confidence, care, pride, and affection. The kind of similarity you will be able to analyze from your own responses. So when you said again, positive is happiness, excited, and affection. But when we are saying negative, negative feelings or negative emotions are also interrelated with each other. When somebody is saying jealousy, it means what feeling or what response that is occurring in that particular environment is anger. Next is anger, fear, and jealous. So when we are saying the positive or negative kind of emotion, you need to write down. So this pre-test help you to analyze your own feelings, and somewhere it also hit your memories. It means whatever happening in our day-to-day life, we are collecting experiences. We are collecting memories, and those memories are going to stored in our neurosystem of our body. So when we are saying neurosystem of our body, let's discuss this slide first. Our brain is divided into three main parts. One is where you think rationally, logical part or the creative part. Another is where you think creatively, and central portion of the brain where all your past experiences are going to be stored. So this is our brain, or this is the limbic system of our body or neurosystem of our body that making us an emotional creature. So when we are saying that IQ ability is very high, it means that individual is very good when it comes to the use of the logical side of your brain. When I'm saying the is strong kind of emotion or strong kind of a feeling, this is happening due to your past experiences or due to the memories that you are getting in your life over the period of time. So, at the age of 3 months, in a human population, as per the research, at the age of 3 months, we are start collecting memories, and those memories are going to give us some sort of experiences which we called as emotions. So when the baby is newborn and somebody is saying the baby is feeling very happy after seeing me, or baby is not very happy when another individual is picking him or carrying him, these are not the emotion, these are just the sensation or the body feeling. So when we are saying the emotions is captured by a human being, that is when the human being is able to identify the different experiences and they are collecting memories in their brain. इंडिया में एक और भी बात कहते हैं कि when somebody is on deathbed, they are वो उनको कोई बुला रहा है, the past members of the family calling by their name. So that is means this conscious brain of that individual is not working, and when the conscious brain or logical or creative brain is not working, the limbic system comes into picture. Subconsciously the brain started recollecting the memories from the past and they calling the members from the past only. So there's a science behind this, that when your logical or creative brain is not working, your spinal cord is giving you the signals, and from the limbic system you are recollecting your past memories and having past kind of experiences. When it will happen? When your conscious brain or physical movement is not there for an individual. In that particular case, we go back to our memories. So when we are saying that it is very easy for us to identify the primary kind of emotion, but for us as mature adult, it is also very easy for us to cater or to identify the secondary kind of emotion, because we all have past experiences, we all have the kind of memory that is inbuilt in our brain system, and we are able to analyze not only the individuals but also the situation. Sometime a student in your class or sometime a colleague of your department may be in an angry mood, but we understand the situation of that particular individual and we ignore the words that is being said by that individual. हम कहते हैं ना कि कोई बात नहीं, वो इस टाइम इस कंडीशन से निकल रहा है, that is why he is feeling these kind of experiences, because we as matured we are able to understand the condition of that individual and we are able to respond according to that. So when it comes to regulate your emotion, there are two different things that we need to understand. The very first one is antecedent focused. Antecedent focused means it divided into four different categories: the situation selection, the situation modification, attention deployment, and cognitive change. So when we are saying antecedent focused means the situation is already there, the event is already happened, then now it is up to that particular individual who is handling that particular situation, that how they are going to regulate those emotions. अब तक हम क्या कर रहे थे? How I am able to identify the different emotions. I am able to identify different emotion based on my past experiences over the period of time. I'm able to relate different kind of emotions. I'm able to have a positive kind of a feeling related with each other, or negative kind of experiences also. There is somewhat similarity between those positive or negative kind of emotions. Now next is how we are able to regulate our emotion. The very first thing is the situation selection. As a mature adult, it is up to me that I want to be the part of that particular event, or I want to ignore that particular situation. So when I'm saying situation selection, say for example, there is a child who may be 6 to 7 year old, and that child go to the market with the parent, and after seeing an object, maybe a toy, the parent knows that that child will demand for that particular toy. So the parent decided, as a mature adult, the parent decide that I will select the situation. Either I bypass that particular path, or I will buy that toy for the particular child, because the child do need not to have a negative kind of experience associated in the memory. So I, as a parent, I selected that particular situation for a child who is not matured enough. Next is situation modification. Situation modification means I deviate the interest of that particular child towards another object. So that is situation modification. Attention deployment. So when I'm saying attention deployment, I am giving a logic to that particular child, that what is right or what is wrong, and based on my logic, the child is able to deploy his or her attention. And as the child grow, child knows what are the different needs of a particular environment. The child will behave in a good manner, and there is a cognitive change in the behavior of that particular individual. But the thing is that from situation selection to cognitive change, what are the different things that we need to consider? Situation selection means, another example for situation selection may be, say for example, in your department, maybe there is one colleague to whom you didn't like. For XYZ reason, you don't like that particular colleague. Situation selection means, whenever that colleague is available with you in a faculty room, you ignore that particular individual, or you leave the room for him or her. Situation modification, you sit together, discuss about the issue, and try to resolve that particular issue. Attention deployment, any time or in any situation, if that colleague is giving a negative kind of remark to you, maybe in a meeting or maybe in a faculty room, you simply ignore that remark and move forward with your work. Cognitive change means, over the period of time when you both were able to resolve different issues, you were comfortably sit together and have a cup of tea. So that is antecedent focused. But the thing is, from situation selection up to cognitive change, what are the different things that we need to consider as an individual? Positive things, okay.
Ma'am, cognitive change.
Cognitive change, thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, any another member who would like to add something?
Ma'am, please repeat the question again. There is some network issue.
From situation selection up to cognitive change, what are the different factors you need to consider in terms of
Different?
regulating emotions? Different factors you need to consider.
Okay. Uh, I think, ma'am, the most important is the mindset and the willpower, because from situation to cognitive, it's a journey where we need to accept ourselves, because whatever situation is happening around us, we cannot change. So we need to accept, adjust, understand the situation, and that will help us to think in a very creative manner in order to cope up. So I think that is from situation to, the cognitive level.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So when I was given an example of a child who is 6 or 7 year old, and I'm saying that that object is not possible for you to buy for that particular child, or you either select a situation, modify situation, or you deploy the attention of that particular child. Is it possible for you to is it possible for you every time to do the same kind of activities for that particular child? कि हर बारी वो किसी ऑब्जेक्ट की डिमांड कर रहा है और हर बारी पेरेंट उसको मना कर रहा है कि वी आर नॉट एबल टू बाय दिस पर्टिकुलर ऑब्जेक्ट फॉर यू दिस टाइम. It is not
No, every
possible.
time not possible.
Every time it is not possible for us, because every time if I'm saying no to that particular individual, it may be any situation, we are taking a hypothetical case, it may be any situation, but if every time you are saying no to a case, to a even to a situation, that you are going to give a negative kind of experience to that particular individual. So when we are saying situation selection to attention deployment, there must be a balance between positive and negative kind of experiences. So if you're not able to buy object this time, there must be a logical reasoning given to that particular child so that the behavior can be developed. So over the period of time, when the logic or the right reasoning is given to an individual, the individual is able to develop a cognitive change by his or her own. Every attention deployment doesn't mean that you are saying no to that particular individual or you are ignoring that particular situation. We are giving logic or we are giving reason for that particular no or for that particular experience so that a behavioral modification can be there. So when we are saying cognitive change, as a mature adult, we need to understand that whatever situation we are selecting and how we are modifying that particular situation help and another individual to develop or modify his or her behavior. When I'm saying there is a colleague to whom you didn't like and you said I will have a positive kind of a feeling, I ignore that particular remark. Practically it is not easy for us to ignore a negative remark that is given to us by anybody, not from the colleague, maybe from your personal life also. Whenever somebody is saying negative thing or giving a negative kind of experience to us, it is not very easy for us to forget that kind of emotion. So when we are saying situation selection and situation modification, as an adult you need to understand that you both must sit together, resolve an issue and move forward. So resolve an issue doesn't mean that you are going to make a friend of that the colleague. It also means that from now onwards there is nothing positive or nothing negative between us. So when we are saying cognitive change means what kind of experiences you are giving to another individual as a leader and what kind of experiences you are associating with your own personality to develop that cognitive change. So when we are saying we are manipulating an emotion or we are adapting that particular emotion or environmental change, that is the behavioral modification occurring within us or that particular environment. The second major thing that we need to understand is the response focused. So when I'm saying response focused means the surface acting. In this particular case, I'm not actually adapting that particular situation. Antecedent focus means we are adapting that condition and according to that condition we are behaving. When I'm saying the response focused, I'm not adapting that particular environment change, but I'm acting that I am very happy or I'm very joyful in this particular situation. So when I'm saying the response focused and we are talking about the feelings or the emotion, there may be individuals whose sleep time is bit longer as compared to another individual, or suddenly their sleep cycle change. कुछ लोग to a negative kind of experience or due to a negative kind of feeling, their sleep cycle suddenly change. कुछ लोग जब डिप्रेशन में होते हैं, nowadays a very common term that we all are using, it's depression. So कहते हैं कि वो डिप्रेशन में इसलिए वो बहुत ज्यादा सोता है. There are people who are emotional eaters. There are people who are bodily response is different, means their sugar level shoot up, their BP level shoot up. It means they are trying to adapt that environment change, they are trying to manipulate that particular emotion, but they are surface acting it means the cognitive change is not happened yet. अगर आपको किसी स्ट्रेसफुल कंडीशन में आपकी बॉडी रिस्पॉन्स करी है इन टर्म्स ऑफ बीपी हाई, बीपी लो, शुगर, these are the physical responses of your body towards that feeling. So that
Department
is
of University.
another sign is
Responsibility of DHW. DHW team under the leadership of Dean Chair is
So maybe request
So
Dr. Vipin Kumar
scheduling
to kindly mute your audio system.
to enhancing the student experience. This team efforts cultivate and positive and exclusive campus environment, promoting
So
high.
maybe request Dr. Bipin sir to kindly mute your audio system, sir. So when we are saying that response acting or surface acting, it means you need to identify the physical responses of your body. So whatever you are feeling, that feeling is also happening in your body, and your body is responding in that particular way. If you are not able to modify your behavior, your body will react in a negative way. So when we are saying the cases of abuse, drug cases, sleep deprivation, more sleep, there are certain hormonal diseases. All those diseases are due to you are not able to develop a cognitive change over a period of time. Despite of your maturity, your body is providing you a signal that somewhere, if you are not able to select a situation, attention deployment or cognitive change is the best way to regulate your emotions. हम सबको पता होता है कि कौन सा इवेंट, कौन सी सिचुएशन, कौन सा इंडिविजुअल है जिसे देख के मुझे गुस्सा आता है. So it is possible for me to change that situation. If it is not possible for you to change the situation, attention deployment is the best solution for that.
होता है कि हम लोग ऐसे एक्सपोजर में रहते हैं जहाँ हो सकता है मैं भी किसी के लिए टॉक्सिक एलिमेंट हूँ, कोई मेरे लिए होगा, लेकिन अगर हम बहुत लॉन्ग टाइम ऐसे रहेंगे तो हम जो इंडिविजुअल अपनी बॉडी को मेंटेन करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि ठीक रहे, सब रेस्पॉन्सेस ठीक हो, लेकिन ओवर द टाइम हम पे भी तो नेगेटिव आता होगा
क्योंकि आपकी बॉडी वैसे रिस्पॉन्स करेगी ना. You are not able to regulate. So nowadays when we said stress management activities, meditation is there, yoga is there. बहुत सारे offices में desk yoga facilities also available for the members. So that is means you are giving time to your body to have or collect the responses and rethink about that particular situation. But it is only you as an individual who are able to develop that cognitive change. डॉक्टर आपको मेडिसिन प्रेस्क्राइब करेगा, आपके कोलीग्स, आपके फैमिली मेंबर्स आपको सजेशंस देंगे, बट इट इज ओनली द इंडिविजुअल हु इज डिसाइडिंग that whether I want to be in that particular situation or want to develop that cognitive change. So next is when it comes to an emotional regulation, we need to understand, we are able to understand what emotions are, how we are able to identify emotions, whoever able to regulate our emotion. The next thing that we need to discuss in this particular session is what we mean by emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is your capacity to understand your feelings and the feelings for others, for motivating ourselves and for managing our emotions effectively in our relationships. So when we are saying the emotional intelligence, we need to assess that do we already have emotional intelligence available? If I'm able to analyze the primary and secondary kind of emotions in a given environment, it means emotional intelligence is available with me. How I'm using that emotional intelligence, it is up to the cognitive change you are able to develop over the period of time. So we say emotional intelligence and leading with emotional intelligence, it is not a new concept for our country. Within the context of creating a balance between heart-based leadership and mind-based leadership. Till now, we are discussing the different kind of leadership styles like diplomatic leader, transactional leader, charismatic leader. Till now, in management, different management courses, we are discussing these kind of leadership style. But when it comes to an emotional intelligence or leading with emotional intelligence, the two most prevalent leadership styles are the servant style of leadership and shared style of leadership. So best example for servant style of leadership is hospitality industry and health industry. आप हॉस्पिटल में चले जाओ, होटल में चले जाओ, द काइंड ऑफ लीडरशिप दैट इज प्रिवेलिंग इन दीज टू इंस्टीट्यूशंस आर servant style leadership. They are there for their customers all the time, every time, for your every need. So when we are saying that emotional intelligence, or we are leading not only with IQ but with the EQ ability, I need to act as a servant first before leading others. The best example is, say for example, there is some urgent assignment in your department or at your office, and you have to come on Saturdays, Sundays also, and there are 3 to 4 faculty members in your department. If your head of department is saying that every Saturday and Sunday you need to be there because you are very efficient and effective in terms of your work performance, is it possible for you to fulfill the requirements of the department? Every Saturday, Sunday, if they are saying that you need to come over here because you are very effective, आपको motivate भी कर दिया positive term देके, and they are saying that you need to come, it is not possible for you. So do you consider that head of department as a good leader? No, because you think of the biasness or you think of the partiality that is happening in that department. And if the head of department make a rotation based duty calendar, and every Saturday, Sunday, the head of department is also there with all the departmental colleague to work towards that urgent and important assignment, we will consider that head of department as a good leader. And the kind of leadership ability displayed by that departmental head is servant style of leadership. So when we are working towards an important or urgent assignment, we all are there as a team, and one member, that is head of department, is leading that particular team. So that style of leadership is cognitive as well as heart based leadership. The second best example of leading with emotional intelligence is the shared style of leadership. So when the head of department is saying that you are very effective in terms of your work performance, the first question that arises in an individual mind is, why only me? Why not other departmental faculty members are able to perform this duty or this task? Somewhere it is not possible for that particular department to train all the faculty members. आपकी प्रोफेशनल ट्रेनिंग में कहीं ना कहीं कोई प्रॉब्लम है. Why those faculty members were not trained over the time so that all can work effectively? So when we are saying shared style of leadership, whenever there is a work or responsibility in an organization or in a department, there must be training of all the individuals to handle those cases or to handle those situations. So every time doesn't mean that one member is performing all kind of activities or a unique kind of activities assigned to a member. Every member of the department must be trained towards the activities of that organization. कि अगर किसी का कोई personal या professional problem है, there is another team member available in the department to fill in that gap. वो कब होगा? When every member is sharing responsibilities in a same manner. So that style of leadership is shared style of leadership. So it is not a new concept for our country. We are able to maintain a balance between heart based leadership and mind based leadership, and best example of this is Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita provide us an good examples that when it comes to leading with emotional intelligence, what are the different conditions or cases that we need to consider. Now the question arises that why it is important for us to lead not only with IQ but with EQ ability. As per the research in this particular area, it is clearly mentioned that 85% of the success rate depends upon your EQ ability rather than IQ ability. So nowadays, as per the flexible work culture is available in many organizations, when you are able to work in teams, when you are able to work in group, and one day you are acting as a leader, another day you are acting as a team member for that activity, if you do not have EQ ability available, it is not possible for you to survive in that environment. So when we are saying why it is important, in antecedent focused response, we said that from situation selection up to attention deployment, there is one phase which we all are passing is the cognitive change or the behavioral modification. So when we are saying that why it is important, because it will increase cognitive and decision making capability, what is right and what is wrong. We are saying that every time it is not possible for you to say no or to modify a situation, you need to give logic or right reasoning to that individual that why we need to deviate from the situation or modify from the situation. So when we are giving negative and positive side of a event to another individual with the logic, the decision making capability also going to be developed. हम क्या सोचते हैं कि स्टूडेंट जब तक स्कूल लाइफ में था, देर इज अ स्पून फीडिंग ऑफ ऑल काइंड ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन, देर इज अ पैम्पर्ड काइंड ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर चाइल्ड. सडनली जैसे उसे जेई में अपेयर होना है या नीट में अपेयर होना है, वो बच्चा सुबह उठ के पढ़ना शुरू कर दे. इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. हमने उसका बिहेवियर मॉडिफाई नहीं किया फ्रॉम द लास्ट 10 to 15 years. नाउ इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर चाइल्ड टू शो that kind of a behavioral change. You need to give him right or wrong so that the decision making capability can be developed and behavioral modification can be there. When we are saying the response acting and your body is giving you the responses, on the another side we are saying that it is you as an individual who is selecting different situations for you and who are selecting the responses you want from that particular environment. It means there is interpersonal communication and intrapersonal communication that need to be there in the environment. ऑफिस में आपको कुलीग अच्छा नहीं लगता, इग्नोर करके चलेगा. घर पे फैमिली मेंबर अच्छा नहीं लगता, इग्नोर करोगे चलेगा? नहीं चलेगा. So it totally dependent upon in what environment you are dealing with. So when there is a two-way communication happening in a given environment, it is possible for you to develop emotional intelligence, able to solve the conflict if we are able to analyze the different kind of emotion and able to manipulate and regulate emotion. इस एज में मैं ये भी कह रही हूँ कि आपको मैनिपुलेट भी करना है इमोशंस को. There are many situations in life at this particular age where we need not to show our true kind of emotions to others. So depending upon the situation or depending upon with whom we are talking to, so it also help us to develop good interpersonal relationship in an organization. So that help us to negotiate, help us to adapt different changes and help us to resolve different conflicts. Positive influences on processes. So there may be a situation that is fearful, there may be situation in which you are angry, but how you are responding to that particular situation help you to create an environment. Burnout or job stress risk. When you are able to analyze the emotions of other, it is possible for you to decrease the rate of burnout in your profession. अगर कोई colleague आपके पास, how many of you are heading your department right now? आप कर रहे हो? और yes, in the group, how many of you heading your departments or at senior positions? Yes, members available with us online. How many of you are heading your department right now?
No, ma'am.
Any member who is the head of department at their institute?
Hello.
Jay Kumar sir, Mr. Nithin, Sunil Kumar sir. Sir, is it an easy job or a difficult task?
Not easy, but difficulty level varies. How do you enjoy this
You're
task?
not audible to me, Sunil sir. I hope I'm clearly audible to all of you.
Am I audible?
Yes, any member who would like to share experience with us?
Ma'am, not now, but what I believe is that the most important thing which we need is it's not difficult for me. Earlier I was leading because we need to empathize. If it is not there, I think nothing will fall in place. And moreover, we must develop, self-awareness approach. And that will help us to understand that nobody is perfect. So as a team leader, if we can provide motivation, if we can develop communication skill, then definitely it's very enjoyable task to perform. So I think we learn, we grow with the team.
Thank you very much, Gurmeet ma'am. Any another member who would like to share his or her experience? Gurmeet ma'am said there are two most important dimensions of emotional intelligence. One is self-awareness, another is empathy. So these are the two different things that we need to consider when we are leading others. So any another member from the group who would like to share their experiences? Yes, from the members connected with us. Easy है, okay. सामने वाले को
Ma'am, proper understanding of people, it's very easy. And there are some people who, as you say, you don't want to face. There are people who can't stand you. Sometimes it is difficult for those kind of people. Otherwise, it's not that bad.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And there are responses from the center also. One participant said that we need to give time to ourselves and to others also to understand the situation or the case. One participant very confidently said that it is very easy task because we need to understand others. So thank you very much, all of you, for your responses. And when it comes to understanding and developing an emotional intelligence, rightly added by all of you, that there are certain dimensions on which we need to work for. The very first one that we have already covered is to understand emotions in a given environment after analyzing the cases, situation, events, and individuals. So, when I'm saying understanding emotion, it is not just the feelings, it is the cases, the events, the situation, the individuals also, because every individual is different. Their thinking pattern or their behavior pattern are different. So we need to understand individual in terms of their holistic personality, so that help us to understand their emotions. After understanding emotion, we need to perceive those feelings. If somebody is angry, if somebody is fearful, if somebody is surprised, if somebody is feeling joyful, that why they are feeling so. कभी कभी मुझे लगता है कि ये तो गुस्से होने वाली बात ही नहीं थी जिस पे आप गुस्सा होगे, because that is associated with that particular personality, may not be associated with my experience or with my past memories, but for that individual it may be a trigger point. So when I'm saying perceiving emotions, we need to understand that if it is a negative or a positive kind of a feeling, why that individual is feeling this kind of emotion. So we need to perceive that emotion from their point of view. So when we are saying the empathy means to understand their perception, to understand their viewpoint before giving response to that particular situation. Facilitating thought, how it is going to be happen when you are able to analyze the whole situation. X member is saying something else to you, Y member is saying something else to you, and there is a third Z member who is very agitated or who is very angry. You need to understand, you need to give time to yourself to understand the whole situation, to collect viewpoint and perception of all the individual, to finally come to the conclusion. And once you are able to facilitate that thought process, you will be able to manage that emotions. अगर कोई आपके पास गुस्से होकर आया और आपने उसको रूम से बाहर निकाल दिया, that is not the solution of the problem. So that is why in communication also we said always respond rather than react. Reaction नहीं देना आपको. You need to develop response before giving a final word to an individual. Another important thing that we need to consider is the in an organization, when we are talking about an effective performance, these are the four different dimensions we need to consider. The overall mood of any organization, whether that work culture is a positive kind of a work culture, or there is a job stress, or a burnout rate is high, mainly these are the four different dimensions in which we need to focus upon. The very first is understand yourself, understand your own personality. So we have self awareness, assertiveness, independence, self regard, and self actualization. So earlier, when there is a department, there is XYZ head of department or XYZ principal or director of any institute, and when they are assigning responsibility to the faculty member, technical staff, or to the other members of an organization, they are ready to do work. As generation changes, there are more of the question that why I need to do this work and why I need to do this work again and again. There are 10 different ways to do this particular work. Why I need to go by this particular approach only? So when I'm saying the intrapersonal kind of a dimension, you need to understand yourself. So there may be teachers who are very good when it comes to the use of technology in teaching learning. There may be teacher in your department or in your organization, they are very happy when they're teaching by using board. So that is their comfort, that is their order, and that is their proficiency. So that is the self awareness of that particular faculty, that I know that when it comes to display good teaching effectiveness ability, this is my approach of doing the things. If I want to integrate something, I need to be have flexibility, autonomy, as well as accountability for my work performance. And there must be self regard and self actualization also. So, when it comes to an emotional intelligence, first thing that we need to understand is, as an individual, what is my work pattern? What is the kind of behavior I need to display in a different situation? What are the positive things of my personality that I need to consider, and these are the negative things on which I need to work for, or these are my weaknesses. Second is interpersonal. So when we are dealing others, the first thing that we need to understand is the social responsibility. So if you are leading a department, you are leading department as a whole. There are not a few set of individual to whom you are supporting, or there are no few set of individual to whom you are not supporting. So if a responsibility or a work assignment provided to you as a leader, it is your responsibility to have ट्रांसपेरेंसी इन दैट वर्क इन्वायरमेंट और इन दैट वर्क कल्चर. अगर वो ट्रांसपेरेंसी है आपके वर्क इन्वायरमेंट में, बायसनेस, जेलसी, एंगर, फियर विल नॉट बी द पार्ट ऑफ दैट departmental activities. So first, as a leader, we need to understand that there is a social responsibility towards me. And as a teacher, in this particular profession, when we, as a teacher, as a head of department, or as a principal, there are number of young aspirants who are copying our behavior. They're considering us their mentors or counselors. So it's a social responsibility that I'm going to display towards my student, that this is the kind of decision making we need to have in our life. When there is something wrong or when there is something right, how we are going to handle all those issues. Second is empathy. You already discussed. Empathy means to understand other individual perception and viewpoint. Perception means opinion may be different, viewpoints may be different, but along with that empathy, we need to have factful information also. There is a difference between sympathy and empathy. Empathy doesn't mean that you are going to help that individual as a whole. Empathy means to understand the situation of that particular individual, or give him or her an option to do in the XYZ situation. You are going to provide them the condition that in this way you will be able to solve your problems. I'm not sympathizing, I'm not performing their duties, but I'm providing them conditions to do good or more effectively in that environment. Interpersonal relationship, the teamwork environment need to be there in a department. So interpersonal relationship will be developed when there is a two-way communication happening at departmental level. If it is important and urgent messages, kindly convey those messages in a written form. If it is a departmental meeting, the agenda need to be designed at departmental level. All the items must be cleared and discussed with all the faculty members before taking any decision at departmental level. So that help you to develop good interpersonal relationship. Stress management, कितना stress tolerate कर सकते हो? The first thing that we need to analyze is how much I can take. So there are individuals in organization or in a work culture who never say no to other individual or to other colleagues. जब वो no नहीं कहते तो उनके पास क्या होता है? Calm, calm, calm. There is a lot of work, and there is habit of some of the colleagues of the department कि अगर मैं नहीं करूँगा वो तो कर ही लेगा. So when we are saying to develop good interpersonal relationship, there is a thin line between friendship in your personal front or friendship in your professional environment. So when we are saying stress tolerant, learn to say no if you are not able to perform duties of other. Stress tolerance, if you are not able to deploy the situation or change the situation, develop your cognitive behavior in line with that. If you are stressful, your body is not working fine, take leave, have some time for refreshment. Impulse control, there are negative kind of experiences we all are feeling at this age. It may be stress, it may be anger, it may be fear, it may be frustration, it may be due to lot of work in your bucket. So when we said impulse control, try to define your limits. As per your limit, work accordingly. Adaptability, reality testing, flexibility, and your ability to solve the problem. So by managing all the four dimensions and the factors related to these particular dimension, you will be able to set the general mood of your department that will turn into optimism and happiness. Conclusion is, when it comes to an emotion, empathy, not towards yourself but to other individuals also in your life, you must be able to manage your emotions. Do not try always to manipulate or control emotion. If you are feeling angry or if you're feeling fearful, share those negative kind of experiences with individuals in your life that help you to manage your stress. So manage your emotions, observing others emotions also. So rather than always respond, be an antecedent focused rather than response focused. If somebody is sleeping very high, if somebody is suddenly start eating a lot, if somebody is there are many cases nowadays, students are taking pills or individuals are taking other hormonal pills. Try to identify the reason of the actual problem, so observe their emotions and observe their bodily pattern also. Talent to generate emotion that facilitate the decision making process. So there may be activity club, there may be tea club, there may be other extracurricular activity happening at departmental level that help the faculty member and staff member to sit together, interact with each other, and resolve different issues that help you to develop more capacity in terms of decision making. Inspiring other, be a role model or mentor in that particular environment as a leader. Inspire other, give conditions and situation to individuals to handle. Over the period of time when there is a professional training happening at institute level, they will be able to take a more responsibility. But yes, you need to give training to the subordinates who are working under you. Open to cultivating relationship, not inherent trait but a learned skill. Over the period of time, we all will be managed to understand, perceive, and manage emotion, not of ourselves but for others also. What matter most is how you see yourself. So this is all about emotional intelligence. So if there is any question from the group, you are requested to kindly unmute and ask.